This is your talk host, Samuel Brock Flynn of Samuel Brock Flynn Show. Today's going to be a topic called Freedom Talk. So, this is what we're going to talk about tonight. All right, and the subject matter is, do these corporations want to be known for kicking out celebrities or public figures from their jobs? Meaning, let's say you're a celebrity or public figure, you go and apply to company A, and company A hires you, and then company A finds out that you're being publicized by some great big magazine of Gazette A or Gazette B. And what they do is they find that out, and then your boss meets with you and say, "Why are you in magazines for? Did you know you could be fired for that?" Okay, well, first and foremost, if they didn't mention the company name or who they're working for currently, they cannot technically be fired because, first and foremost, they didn't violate any policies within the company of your social media company by unauthorized use of the company name, so they can't really be fired for that. Um, but if they're planning on firing people over because they have fame and the company's just jealous over it, that kind of pity party type of nonsense, they are very, very pity of a company to get rid of a celebrity that's got publicity behind them and want to fire somebody. Um, Actually, threats like that have happened to me as a talk show host. Um, actually, and I'm just covering this because of what I know. And these corporations should not be allowed to trample up on celebrities, public figures, freedom of speech, or even the right to do, they shall not have control outside of their job of what they're doing on the clock. They shall not have control, outside of that clock hours. I mean, if it's clock hours, yeah, they can have control as long as it's at the job site or what have you. But to go to the extreme of placing sanctions on somebody or placing any kind of control over someone is just absurd. I mean, why, placing sanctions on someone to keep them from having the right to speak in the news for anything just about is just wrong, I think, my personal opinion as a talk show host. But it certainly gets the Bill of Rights of America, of our freedom of speech, Um, but it should not be allowed. It should not be a fireable offense of any sort. But in some places, it is to be a public figure such as me. That actually I'm a shoe designer, and I get asked questions by the media all the time about the shoes or about my latest projects with the photography stuff I'm doing. Uh, you know, Such as that, or companies I have joined and become part of the corporate part side of it. Um, you know, that's the part that I'm kind of pissed off about, that these companies are allowed to place control over someone's life and keep them from succeeding, and keep them from being who they are, and placing a sanction, even if you're not on the clock. These places have rights to take your freedom of speech away, including if you're covered for your own product or for your own services you're doing. I mean, photography is a service. I mean, it is, and to keep somebody like me from it is so wrong, so wrong. You know, I mean, it's against the Constitution. Have you people not learned that you as a company have to adhere to the United States Constitution? Did you not know that? I mean, where was your mind at when you was getting your master's degree or whatever degree you have in business? Where was it at? Did you have somebody cheat for you? Is my question. Did somebody cheat for you while you go out and get drunk and party? What what happened? To me, what sounds like happened, it sounds like I hit the nail on the head. You went out and partied while somebody else cheated on a college test for you. That's exactly what I think has happened. But anyways, but since you're too ignorant to know anything, um, and so tyrannical on top of that as a company, now your policies are creating tyranny, and that's what we don't need. We don't need tyranny in our country, where we're controlled by these corporations from being a public figure or celebrity, or talk to the media and doing media interviews and covered, and speaking for ourselves. So if I want to speak for ourselves, you mean I could be fired for that? For just speaking for myself? Oh yeah, I guess so. Well, I guess how dumb that sounds and tyrannical that sounds. Very much tyrannical to me. Anyways, I want you as CEOs out there, think about this. Think about America first, not company first, where we want to create tyranny and become a monarch of a country. This is not, our United States, not a monarch. Where is y'all's minds at? You know, and only happened in monarch countries, or countries that's under authority or authoritarian type of country, where you can't do this, you can't do that. Excuse me, but the thing of it is, no person should be, allowed to just fire somebody, you know, over because they had media coverage on them. They could be writing a book and doing something outside of work, you know, and doing good things, and you're going to fire them for doing good things. What is wrong with you people out there? Needs to be a serious reality check somewhere. But anyways, you guys have a great night. Thank you for listening. But I hope that I have, you know, laid the, some details down that you can actually learn from here, and also uh, know about some things there. I do not agree with putting sanctions on people, or putting control on people for, of this sort of thing. I think it's wrong. Everybody else I talk to think it's wrong. So we need to get these places out of United States if they're gonna continue to be this controlling, or just vote them out or whatever. Um, but I'm sure there's a whistleblower program or something you can go and actually, if I was just you, I'd just go to the plain Jane media. If you're a public figure or celebrity or somebody that's enduring this type of stuff, go to the media and expose these companies for who they are that are doing this sort of thing. Because if you're let's say a book author, you shouldn't be kept away from doing your TV interviews because of another company you work for. You can do it yourself, DIY, or yeah, DIY yourself, and be your own person. These people are not paying you to not speak to the media. These people are not paying you to, they're not paying you for that. They're just paying you to do your job of what you do at these corporations and go home for the day and clock out. Okay. Once you clock out and leave premises, you're no longer held to their policies. That's the way it should be, because they're not paying you to hold on to that to take account for that policy outside of the clock hours, which means you're not getting paid for it. So why uphold those policies if you know if you're not getting paid for it at all, especially while you're at home on a computer playing games or something? Why should you still uphold those policies even though you're inside your own home and have freedom? But that's you know that's the point I'm making. On top of that, I think it's tyrannical for any kind of company to do that. So, anyways, you guys have a great night. Only the judges and Congress people that can change this and make these companies change their policies too. You know, what the Congress people do is just give these owners and CEOs good scolding is what they'll need. So, you guys have a great night.